being a reservoir of all auspicious attributes. Shri Advaita Acharya is all auspicious for the world. His characteristics, activities, and name are always auspicious. Purport. Shri Advaita Acharya Prabhu, who is an incarnation of Mahavishnu, is an Acharya or teacher. All his activities and all other activities of Vishnu are auspicious. Anyone who can view the all auspicious in the pastimes of Lord Vishnu also becomes auspicious simultaneously. Therefore, since Lord Vishnu is the fountainhead of auspiciousness, anyone who is attracted by the devotional service of the Lord, anyone who is attracted by devotional service of Lord Vishnu can render the greatest service to humanity or to human society. Rejected persons of the material world who refuse to understand pure devotional service as the eternal function of the living entities and as an actual liberation of the living being from conditioned life, become bereft of all devotional service because of their poor fund of knowledge. In the teachings of Advaita Prabhu, there is no question of fruitive activities or impersonal liberation. Bewildered by the spell of material energy, however, persons who could not understand that Advaita Prabhu is none different from Vishnu wanted to follow him with their impersonal conceptions. The attempt of Advaita Prabhu to punish them is also auspicious. Lord Vishnu and his activities can bestow all good fortune, directly and indirectly. In other words, being favoured by Lord Vishnu and being punished by Lord Vishnu are one and the same, because all of the activities of Vishnu are absolute. According to some, Mangala was another name of Advaita Prabhu, as the causal incarnation or Lord Vishnu's incarnation for a particular occasion. He is the supply agent or ingredient in material nature. However, he is never to be considered material. All his activities are spiritual. Anyone who hears about and glorifies him becomes glorified himself. For such activities free one from all kinds of misfortune. One should not invest in any material contamination or impersonalism in the Vishnu form. Everyone should try to understand the real identity of Lord Vishnu, for by such knowledge one can attain the highest stage of perfection. Om Jnanati Mirantasya Gananjanan Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mokum Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Grinya Kripa Taraham Vandai Shri Guram Dinataniram Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gaudavana Pachanare Nirviseshi Shunyavadi Pastichade Shitanire Vanchakalpatrubhis Chakripasindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Herein then, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj is revealing, describing, teaching us the glories of Sri Nityananda and Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu. One interesting thing here is that Srila Prabhupada mentions that one should not invest any form of material contamination or impersonal concept on the identity of the Lord. It's very interesting, actually, this word invest in the Bhagavad Gita. We know that the Lord says, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tajanti ante kalevaram. Bhav means is a very strong emotion. Ante at the end. Whatever in this life we invest our greatest emotional investment into, our energy, our mind, in that next life, we will get without fail whatever we intend investing in this life. The return will come in the next life. And Srila Prabhupada is very strongly, as always of course, very strongly bringing to one's attention, we can say, the fact that one should not invest any form of incorrect, bogus philosophies, because there's plenty of them around, isn't it? There's no shortage of impersonal philosophy. There's no shortage of material philosophy. But the Lord, Srila Prabhupada is saying here that if one ever truly wants to understand the Lord as He is, then one has to stay well clear of these two activities, or two mentalities, we should say. Material contamination, having a material ideology, just like in the scriptures it said, isn't it, that anyone who thinks that the deity of Krishna is made out of stone or wood or any material thing, this person, or considers the Acharya, Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda, Jai Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Shri Shri Gaunitai Ki Jai. Anyone who actually considers that the Acharya is a normal person and that the deity is made of stone or some other material thing should actually be considered a resident of hell. So that's quite serious, isn't it? Sometimes even new people who are inclined have little difficulty, isn't it? So what to speak of those who have never seen or even believe in the deity? Srila Prabhupada says here that the material world is a very unfortunate place. So, if one who rejects the deity thinking it's made out of stone is considered to be a resident of the hellish regions, then what to speak of those who have perhaps never even heard or made contact or have some other materialistic view? Throughout all the scriptures it's clearly mentioned that our success spiritually, like everything else in life, will come from service. This is very important to understand, actually, that all spiritual success, or as I had mentioned, for any other path of success, all revolves around offering service. By doing, as Srila Prabhupada would sometimes put, finding some business for Krishna. The idea is that, of course, the soul is eternally active. And if the soul is active enough in this spiritually diseased condition, then the idea is how much more active must it be in the healthy condition? If the body's relatively active in the sick condition, then how much more active must it be in the healthy condition? That means always active. The soul is always active. So therefore, real success, Srila Prabhupada says, is when we engage in these activities in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada often quotes this: when one engages in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means that, just like the Lord's name means Krishna consciousness, doesn't it? Chaitya is the living force. Maha means the great, the master. Prabhu means the master. Maha means the great. The great master, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the great master of all living force, which means life. His very name means Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here that another name for Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu is sometimes known as Mangala. Mangala means auspicious. Auspiciousness means that, just like sometimes we find ourselves weighing up the good and the bad, isn't it? If we're in a particular scenario, particular situation, we will often find ourselves weighing up the good parts and the bad parts. And then the idea is, if the good majorly, at least marginally overrides the bad, we take some sort of, or some form of calculated risk and kind of go for it. However, auspiciousness means there's no bad. There's only good. There's no weighing up the good and the bad. Only weighing up the good. Although, of course, many times it doesn't see or appear to be this way. The fact is, when Lord Krishna is involved, when one becomes devoted, when one begins to offer this service to the Lord, then it means, in one sense, it means whenever you're in the care of the Lord, whatever happens will be for the good. Although, again, sometimes it doesn't always appear. One of the main reasons for this is because, as Srila Prabhupada said, as long as we're in the material world, there's always going to be some form of trouble. Even in devotional service. Srila Prabhupada said all these activities that we do in the Krishna consciousness movement, like the studying and the chanting and taking prasadam and all these activities which are meant to enhance the Krishna conscious movement, they are all spiritual. They're all transcendental. All of them. But because we're doing them here, then that means there's going to be some problem. There has to be some problem, because the material world is dukkhalaya. It means it's a place which is basically synonymous with endless problems. So we pray, Srila Prabhupada is basically saying that if we want to become free from this and become spiritual and auspicious and learned and advanced, then one has to offer this service without trying to contaminate it with material consciousness, isn't it? Like sometimes we'll say that if we do X, Y, Z activity, or if you do such and such on this day, then what happens is you get the benefit, isn't it? We've heard this before, isn't it? If you fast today, But if you do this today, you'll get the benefit. But devotional service means that we should be thinking of actually Krishna's benefit. Right? That's the thing. It means we're doing it for some benefits. It means that, of course, we understand that spirit moves matter. There's no doubt. And obviously, therefore, the Prakriti Bhakta platform is the platform of deciding or thinking that if I become spiritually strong, then that will give me a very serious platform to kind of aggrandize and promote all my other materialistic activities. Therefore, Krishna's in the center. But that's not exactly what it means to put Krishna in the center. Putting Krishna in the center means, as Prabhupada said, we find some business for Krishna. We find something to do for the Lord, something in an attitude of service. This spiritual service, the difference is just like, for example, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Gandhi. And somebody like Gandhi, for example, become very famous for doing what? So this idea of offering yagya is quite powerful, you see. And we find, isn't it, on an individual level, on a social level, national level, international level, there are many people performing great yagyas for service, for humanity. Of course, they think that serving God, what is it? Serving man and you're serving God, right? You've heard that one, the old serving man, serving God. But as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj points out, and of course as Srila Prabhupada repeats, the voice of the people is not the voice of God. Because the people are in ignorance. The people are ignorant. So the voice of the people is not the voice of God, isn't it? So sometimes, yes, I am serving humanity. I am serving mankind, therefore this is my saviour to the Lord. This is not actually devotional service to the Lord. Because the material service has a tendency to be very auspicious. Like Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Gandhi now. He became very famous for doing what? For performing such a service for his country, therefore his country reveres him. Or Mother Teresa, isn't it? You get these characters. Mother Teresa performed a great service for humanity, great sacrifice, made a big yagya. But unfortunately, like Srila Prabhupada pointed out, the results of these materialistic yagyas, thinking that we're doing some amazing service for you. Of course, these are not bad things. These are not bad things. But it doesn't qualify as devotional service to Lord Krishna, because it's a material concept. It says here, Prabhupada says, to understand Advaitacharya Prabhu, one has to remove material concepts. Impersonalism also comes under the idea of materialism. If God's not a person, then what is he? So, the idea is that the results of these materialistic yagyas and these materialistic services are not always guaranteed. Again, Srila Prabhupada points out that Gandhi, he was murdered by the very same people he was trying to liberate. Right? His own countrymen shot him, correct? So therefore it's not guaranteed. We can render service to our families. We can render service to our society, to our community, to our nation. Of course, we're always rendering service to the senses. But out of all these different services, it is, without doubt, service to the Supreme Lord which really counts. Because we have to understand, actually, you see, Having an impersonal or materialistic view on things means we're not understanding the platform of the soul. Everything we view in the teachings, every understanding, getting the philosophy right, all means we understand from the platform of the soul. And that this human form of life is not actually meant for materialistic activities. It's actually, I think in Bhagavatam class, last time, Bhagavatam class, there it was being talked about in the Bhagavatam how this material or this human form of life is meant to, its purpose is to give up material activity. It's not always said like that, is it? We know the human form of life is meant to give up, or is meant for understanding our spiritual nature. Like the animals, I cannot understand. So the material activities are associated with every material creature in the form of eating, in the form of sleeping and mating and defending and everything else involved that rises from aggrandizing these four things. So from day one, in every form of life, these material things are present in the consciousness, driving our activities, controlling us, taking over the senses, contaminated the mind. But only when we get to the human form of life means we can give it up. Again, that's Prakriti Bhakti, isn't it? Prakriti Bhakti, well, I'll be spiritual son and put Krishna in the center and everything else will... Of course that may be true, in a manner of speaking. But it is still a material ideology. And here, Srila Prabhupada says, anyone who hears about the spiritual activities, about the glories of spiritual life, the Panchatattva, becomes free from all kinds of misfortune. Of course, that misfortune, as we've said, material world, there's always going to be some sort of disturbance. But misfortune for what? Misfortune for the soul. It's very unfortunate for the soul to be in a material body. Actually, the soul we don't really want ultimately to be in the material world. It was a serious error in judgment, you can say. So it's said that anyone who simply just reads these books can become fortunate. This is important. You would not expect an expert or a professional or a teacher or a leader of something to not know the knowledge. These are the pillars of becoming fortunate and auspicious, isn't it? Chanting Hare Krishna, taking Krishna Prasadam, and rendering from the platform of the soul, trying to find some business, some offerings for Krishna. And of course, as we know, Srila Prabhupada, the Lord, the Panchatattva, they very much like it. They look favourably upon the devotee who tries to give this information, give this body of spiritual knowledge for others. Krishna becomes very pleased. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came, and he's always figuring out ways to try and liberate and catch and infuse this knowledge into the consciousness, the hearts and minds of people, into the society. And as it's unequivocally declared throughout the scriptures, that anyone who, if he makes the slightest endeavour to help the Lord, will become fortunate. how that good fortune pans out for us as individuals. That maybe we need to become a little more fine-tuned, spiritually more tuned in. Being fortunate doesn't mean you're going to win the lottery next week or wake up in the morning with a brand new car on your drive, or of course it might do, like was it Sudama, wasn't it? He became very rich, isn't it? Krishna blessed him with unbelievable. Met Bill Gates, looked like the toilet cleaner. You know? Blessed him with incredible amounts of opulence. But alright, let's see. There is other opulence, the spiritual opulence. The opulence of having knowledge, the opulence of having associations with progressing devotees, the opulence of taking prasadam and offering service. Because Krishna actually can give us so many things in this world, but it's not gonna last, you see, that's the point. And then if you come to Krishna, and then Krishna comes to you, gives you all these material things, and then you become so wrapped up and wound up, then everything material becomes the function, becomes the goal, becomes the activity, becomes then the state of awareness. And then at the end we'll end up becoming something else other than what we're supposed to be, which is liberated in Krishna Loka. It used to be said that if one dives into the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Panchatattva, dives into the ocean of this service, then one will surface in the pastimes of Radha Krishna, or dive into the ocean of the Panchatattva and surface in the spiritual world. So it is now 20 minutes to the hour of 9 o'clock. Thank you all very much for your